Hi, St. Andrews. My name is Julie Wood, and as always, it is my joy to be with you for today's morning moment. You know, in our society today, we tend to praise the one with the most power or the most control or the most prestige. We have superheroes, Superman and Spider-Man and the Marvel characters, and we are all about power. In stark juxtaposition to our culture, there is one, and we call him Jesus Christ. One who had all the power, all the authority, all of the control. And what did he do with it? Jesus chose to lay it down in order that his love and sacrifice would be able to break forth in his victory over sin and death. What a powerful thing to contemplate. Let's keep that in mind as we look at today's passage, which comes to us from Mark chapter 15, beginning in verse 29. Those who passed by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, "So, you who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, come down from the cross and save yourself." In the same way, the chief priests and the teachers of the law mocked him among themselves. "He saved others," they said, "but he can't save himself. Let this Christ, this King of Israel, come down now from the cross, that we may see and believe." Those crucified with him also heaped insults on him. As I picture Jesus in this moment, once again, being tortured now by words, being mocked, being tempted to let go of his humility and give a display of his power, he chooses not to. I envision him hanging on that cross, back still raw from the beating he endured, wearing a crown of thorns, likely piercing into his head. I picture him hanging on that cross with the weight of his body suffocating him as he tries to breathe. And when given the opportunity to sock it to them, to show off, to break forth with power and prove something to them, once again, he didn't. You see, the character of God, the character of Jesus, as we see in this passage, over and over again, is an example to me. I see the times that he was silent when he could have spoken. I see the times he's spoken when he could have been silent. And here we see an opportunity once again that he could have come out in his humanity and proved something to these people, and yet he didn't. And as I've pondered this passage, what I've been thinking about is how many times in my own life am I the mocking crowd, begging God to show me his glorious display in his works, rather than fixating my eyes on his ways. It's a little bit of a different scenario, obviously, when we apply it to our life today. But you know, these people who clearly Jesus knew that had he done that, had he jumped off the cross and shown them his power, they're not going to believe any more in him the next day than they did in that moment, because all they wanted from him is a display of power. You see, they weren't thinking about the Jesus of Nazareth who had walked in humility, who had healed, who had cared for the little ones, who had cared for the least of these, who'd cared for the women, who operated and did everything he did in love. If they had seen the ways of God, they would not have needed to see the works of God so radically displayed. So friends, I don't know where you find yourself today, but I know as I look back over my life, I can think of so many times that I have begged God for his works. I wanted circumstances to change. I wanted things to be different. I wanted to be different, and I wanted him to make me different. Whatever it is, I've wanted the displays of God and his works so many times more than I've really wanted to cultivate my faith and take my thoughts captive and fixate my mind and my thoughts on the character of the living God. He is holy, He is good, He is kind, He is loving. And I know that living this side of heaven, it sometimes doesn't feel like it. And so we cry out for His works to change us or to change our circumstances more than we think about the fact that He is sovereign over them. And so that's my invitation for myself, and that's my invitation for you. So as we go into this new day, let's all envision ourselves literally at the foot of the cross. Let's fix our eyes on Jesus. Let's imagine Him hanging on the cross. Let's think about the character it took to do that. Let's think about the humility. Let's think about the love, the ultimate sacrifice given for you and I. Those are the ways of God. That is the character of God. And allow the circumstances of our lives, rather than wanting Him to change all of them and have the works of God, let's center our attention and our focus and our longings on that Jesus and on His ways. It'll strengthen us to navigate the circumstances, whether they change or whether they don't. So with that, may you have peace as you fix your eyes and your focus on the ways and character of God.